what if we could make a difference?
There's so many voices trying to define what it means to be a man. And we see these teenage years as being very critical in the decision making that goes on.
God has a purpose and a plan for these young lives.
The first year was crazy.
I thought it was pretty ambitious.
Crazy how 1 week can actually change the course of a young man's life.
Deep down, every man and boy wants to be challenged.
We don't need to live in defeat. God's raising up men to walk confidently in Him.
Changing from a boy to a man, there's just a lot of questions and uncertainties and a lot of feelings of inadequacy and just wondering, how do we do this?
We're taught to keep this facade, keep up that good image, and that was something I faced, especially as a teenager. Life is actually meant to be done in community. It's not meant to be done as a one-man show.
Today there's a lot of false guides that will take you on a wrong path. Camp may be the first time that they've been in an environment where they can feel safe sharing with another man.
We talk more about how our identity comes from God, and that's where our worth is from. We have value because He is our creator and He has a purpose for our lives. The sad reality is that a lot of boys don't have good, meaningful relationships with adults. They've had some bad experiences.
If we can get these young men to understand there's help, there's other people in your life that you can depend on, you can trust, maybe we can ward off and save some of the pain that other people have had to experience and walk through.
And we see a great need within our Anabaptist communities for this sort of input in boys' lives.
The idea for Ignite began as our discipleship groups shared our life stories.
We were sitting around a campfire.
Someone mentioned starting a boys' camp, and my first thought was, well, that's a nice thought, but they have no idea how much work it's going to take.
I was excited about Ignite because I had the opportunity as a youth to go to a similar camp. Knowing a little bit of what camp could look like really made me excited to be involved with beginning something like that.
Our group kind of visualized our younger selves, what we would have liked to pass on and what we wished we knew at a younger age.
So we found ourselves in a place where we had the vision, we had the energy, we did not have the know-how. But what we did have was a big God that was working things out behind the scenes.
Nobody just came up with this idea. It felt like it was a direct word from God that we need to share with other young men. We found out pretty quickly that it's almost impossible to get a new organization up and running as soon as we felt like God called us to do this. We needed a place to stay, and God worked that out in a crazy way. A group of guys went down to visit Camp Jackson, and we found out very quickly that there was no openings to have camp there.
Everything looked good, and we're like, God wants us to be here.
Soon after a quick prayer service in the chapel, the caretaker came back up and said, hey guys, there is 1 week out of the year that's not reserved, and that's the week of the 4th of July.
We were purchasing food, we were signing boys up, we were lining up teachers and staff and telling boys that we were going to have a camp before we had our insurance paperwork.
At one point I remarked, this isn't going to happen unless God really wants it to.
God said, sit back and watch.
First thing in the morning, we gather in chapel for a time of worship. After a filling breakfast, each boy and staff member splits up into the morning classes they've signed up for.
I had the opportunity to teach the archery class. There's been many special memories, teachable moments on the archery range. Later at Campfire, maybe that boy that you were connecting with on the archery range comes and finds you and wants to talk and pray about what he's thinking about.
As you're doing stuff together as men, those conversations can come up. Trust can be built through everyday activities you're both comfortable doing, and that can translate into deeper conversations later even. But another value is just building confidence, because some guys at that age come in and they haven't succeeded at a lot, or they're just not sure if they can. And just enabling them to experience success, enjoy something, maybe even take it home and show the younger brother.
We wanted to have classes that are challenging enough, not just to put boys to the point of frustration, but when there is frustration in the class, on how to work with that and how to have patience in a project.
Active classes fuel teenage appetites, and so we gather in the cool dining hall to enjoy lunch together. Following the meal, there's usually a sharing time in which boys talk about what happened in their classes. Often there are fun challenges as well. After lunch, there's a long free time period in which boys disperse to enjoy activities such as disc golf and swimming.
After snacks, we have our afternoon classes. That's when some of our mentoring classes would happen.
Supper is enjoyed together before an exciting event.
At activities time, you might come out and walk on top of a rope or get sprayed with a fire truck. You never know.
Our campfire session each night is the most important time at camp.
All day long, it's kind of leading up to campfire, and that's when we really get real with the guys, and we're able to talk about the real stuff of life, the real challenges that young men face, and that us older guys face too, no matter if it's anger or if it's unforgiveness in the past.
A boy will stand up, talk about something, and he'll immediately be surrounded by others praying for him. And then the freedom and joy of seeing recognition in each boy's face when someone stands up and shares something.
I've been blown away by the willingness of boys to confess things.
There's a lot of young men today that are really hungry for truth and for input into their life. And we've seen guys that have maybe had a little water poured on their fire and come away really encouraged and glowing brightly. No matter what we as guys struggle with, we want to leave them with hope, not just conviction.
With the increased demand to attend Ignite Boys Camp, application times have decreased dramatically. And in 2025, we filled up in 11 days and ended up with a wait list that we turned off at 18 boys.
So we just can't fit everybody in, and it's difficult to close the window of registration. And we have, ever since the very beginning, wanted to have continual relationships with guys.
The board of Ignite was faced with a choice. Do we grow or do we intentionally continue with a limit in place?
We've decided we want to focus more on quality than quantity, and that really comes from Jesus' model of discipleship.
One of our former staff from the first year has returned from 2 years of voluntary service working with young men, and I feel significantly that God laid on his heart to reach more young men.
So this year we are starting Forge Advance Camp, a smaller camp of 24 boys for ages 15 and 16 for those who have attended Ignite in the past.
And while there's going to be lots of fun outdoor activities at Forge, same as Ignite, we do set aside more time in actual class periods to talk about relevant issues that men and boys face today. Forge is not just Ignite 2.0, but it is actually the next step for those who have already attended Ignite in deepening their walk with Christ and having more discipleship discussion and opportunities with adults who really care.
At Ignite Boys Camp, our verse is to fan the flame. At Forge, the staff seeks to operate as a bellows to the forge, to pump air into a flame that has already been lit.
Really pouring the air to the fire and creating intense heat. And we still want to be organic and real and let him work and let him change us.
We've been able to encourage each other and urge each other to be a good example for the boys and to just continue to develop in our personal lives.
And I believe that God can use us, even though we're limited in our own ability, to impact others. I've seen boys walk away changed.
To hear reports of guys going back home and starting up small groups, Bible studies, and sharing their testimony in their Sunday school classes has been really good.
The role of Ignite and Forge is not to replace the church or parents as far as input in the boys' lives, but just simply to be another source of good attitude, character building, encouragement.
Ignite does not only fan the flame of the boys who attend, but it has also seemed to fan the flame of many of the fathers and parents of the boys as they catch the vision too and want to help.
With Forge, there's going to be additional expenses that God has well under control, and we're going to trust him with that. But if God lays on your heart to support in any way, please reach out to us. We would love for you to be able to be part of the blessing. Don't view this as an opportunity to just fund 1 week of fun and eating and hanging out. We view this whole concept of boys camp as internal and eternal investments.
We believe boys become godly men through relationships, not programs. Through real conversations, through challenge, through truth, through discipleship. Ignite lights the flame. Forge fans it into something lasting. Because what happens in a week can shape a lifetime. Investing in young men is stretching, but it's sacred work. If you feel called to equip the next generation, join us.